Okay, so I wanted to chat a little bit about flood insurance. Oftentimes, people ask me if they need flood insurance coverage on their home or business if they're not located in a high hazard flood zone. So, we've discussed this in the past, but we're going to do a brief overview of flood insurance. The entire US is mapped into different flood zones. Everybody is in a flood zone. The question is whether it's a high hazard, medium, or low hazard flood zone. And basically, there's an oversimplification, but that's based on your proximity to water. So that's issue number one, or variable number one. The second variable that you have is how high or your elevation. So even if you're in a high hazard flood zone, if you're very elevated, then your risk is mitigated because the likelihood of the water traveling upwards is low. However, conversely, even if you're not in a high hazard flood zone, if you're in a low lying area, you may be susceptible to flood waters. Case in point, Hurricane Harvey, the FEMA suggests that 70% plus of the people affected by that storm were not in high hazard flood zones, but they were in Texas. It was exceptionally dry. They were in low lying areas, and the water had nowhere to go, and it continued to rain and rain, dumping immense amount of waters that did not drain well. So long story short, if you're in a high hazard flood zone, it goes without saying that you need flood coverage on your property. If you're not in a high hazard flood zone, in all likelihood, the premiums are very minimal, and you do have, or very well may have, an exposure, especially if you're in a low lying area, and you should have the coverage. Give us a call and we could discuss your particular situation in detail.